Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So I got some painting done on Project Field Snake. First off, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. So today, if you've seen the thumbnail, I'm going to show you guys how to put the side skirts on 93 Cobra or Mustang GT. I get a lot of people asking me how to install them because they're kind of a pain in the butt. So I'm going to attempt to show you guys how to do it. I've installed a ton of these. It's been a minute since I put a set on. I think the last one I did was a black car that I built a couple years back. So I'll show you what I got painted. I got everything painted on the car, but the front bumper cover and the door moldings, I'm still waiting on door moldings to come in. Hopefully I get the second one in this week one day, hopefully. So without further ado, I'll show you guys the back bumper, the side skirts, the rear wing, and the grill insert. So let's check these out. Here's the back bumper. So on these bumpers, I stripped all of these parts. This was a Ford RDOT replacement bumper back in the day a buddy of mine had. I got these bumpers, this rear bumper cover, quite a while back. I stripped it to bare urethane. It had been painted one time before and it had the black OEM primer on it. It was just flaking off. It didn't want a feather edge, but it turned out super nice. Turned out really well. I got up in here real good. So you, the back side of the bumper, the red too. So it's the car after the buff job. So as far as the rocker retainers, this is the driver's side rocker I'm going to show you guys how to put on. So I got all the retainers put on. Dan Carpenter sells a replacement retainer kit. I wish they would make the whole kit gold anodized like the bottom strip. Looks a lot better. Now they ship these with those cheap ass plastic rivets. I use either aluminum rivets, which is or steel. The aluminum, they just install easier and they don't rust. So that's why I use the aluminum. The steel ones might grab just a little bit stronger, but not much. So that's the retainers on the car. There's the front fender extensions I'm going to show you guys how to put on. There's the passenger extension, bumper cover over there. Still got to paint it. There's the wing. Everybody wants to how you paint your wings. Well, you spend $100 at Lowe's and you make you a rack to put it on. So that's the rack I made to stand it on. Had one of these made in Utah before I moved. I'm like, oh, I'll just build another one. It only costs a few bucks. Wing turned out awesome. It's got a couple little nibs in it. Nothing major. Was able to get all up under there really well. Looks good. Grill inserts up here with the front fender extensions. That's my custom film device right here. So it's the grill insert, new running horse, and fender extensions. So all that turned out really well. So I'm going to attempt to show you guys how to install these. Again, thanks for watching. Make slow progress on the car. If you notice, I got the run channels put in. The door frames are painted on the car and the upper door outer weather strips done. Turned out pretty good. So I did get some stuff done. I got the sunroof seal put in, the sunroof little channel things. I got those installed, and that's really about it in the last couple weeks. The weather's been really shitty. I had a lot of other stuff going on, so I just hadn't worked on it a lot. I spent a lot of time doing the bumpers. That's where I've been spending most of my time, in the wing, stripping all that down, getting it primered. The urethane, what I prime those with, I use 2K Omni Primer with a lot of flex agent. You have to put flex agent in these parts. The urethane stuff, I painted these yesterday. They're cured, but they're still flexible. They're not cured really hard. So I'd like to put these on the next day, and I'll try, if there's any buffing required or any trash in those, I'll do it on the car. That way when I put them on, it's still flexible. It's not really rock hard like some of these urethane parts get after you painted. So without further ado, I'm going to set the camera up, show you guys how to put these on, and hopefully I can not look too much like a moron. So be right back. Alright, so I got my little home shifts video thing set up here to record this. So the easiest way to start I found on these is to start with the back retainer molding right here and kind of angle the ground effect in at an angle, and then as it slides forward you put it in the side part, the little dog leg on a quarter, and as you get further down you're going to have to pull the lower half where the screws go on the bottom side of the rocker, pull it down so it doesn't get caught in the lower retaining clip down there, because I've had that happen before too. So when you pull that down, kind of pull it forward, down, and put the bottom part in as you walk it forward. It's kind of a pain in the ass. A lot of people ask me how I do it. I said, I'm still learning the best way to do it. I really don't know how Ford built all these cars so fast. I guess once you've done 10 or 12 of them in one time in the same day, it gets pretty easy. So I'll show you my process. That's kind of how I do it. So let's see if it works. So like I said, I normally try to start with this part up in here, it clips down on this channel right here. You want to put the ground effect up at an angle like this. And I'll start at the back part right here. Make sure you'll see in the back half. Okay, I got that started about right there. It started in the clip. So as I pull it forward, there's another lip right here that goes in this retainer. And like I said, you got to watch this part right here because it'll get stuck in the rocker retainer as you're pushing down on this part right here. So I'll slide it forward. Okay, that piece is started in the dog leg. So you want to pull this part down as you're pulling forward. So it looks like I got all of that in there, I think. So you just got to make sure this piece right in here is in the clip right there. I wish Ford would have brought this clip in a little bit further forward so you'd have more bite on this panel right here. Did in that time. So I didn't have it all the way in down here because the retainer in the back side of the skirt is right through here. So you have to make sure you get all this retaining clip. I'll show you another ground effect here in a second. You got to make sure you get all this piece in that retainer right here. Like I said, these are super pain in the butt. Now, once I get to this point, I like to open the door. Once I get to this point right here in the video, so I can lift it up some and get this started in this retainer down here. That way I can hit it on the top of the rocker all the way down and make sure it's seated. See how I smack that right on top of that to make sure it's seated all the way? What you got to do is once you get that done, you just work your way forward. So, that's pretty much it for that part. Like I said, I'll show you on this other rocker, that little recess part you have to get started to walk it forward. So on this other rocker, what I'm talking about, on the back side of these rockers, oh shit, scratch my paint. On the back side of these rockers right here, you have to get these lips started in those retaining. So you start here, second piece, start with this one. This is the second piece, and then this part down here, this long piece has one right here that goes in the door jamb. So it's kind of a pain in the butt. Yeah, that didn't scratch. So I'm going to pause this real quick. We'll make sure I got that seated all the way in. Then once I get that on, I got a screw I got to put. Oops, sorry, too close to the camera. So I got a screw I got to put on and the fender extension part before that goes on. And once I get that part done, I'll put you guys back on and show you how to put the short piece on. So stay with me. All right, so let's start the car up. I got it all seated in nice and straight. Now on the bottom of that rocker, you can move the molding up and down a little bit so you got a nice clean gap all the way down the rocker between the doors so you don't have a lot of rocker exposed, because you can push that rocker pillar in down pretty far in that retaining clip. But I like to fit them where I've got maybe an 1/8 inch of door jamb showing above that rocker trim. And then once you get that part done, when I build these cars, sometimes, you know, Ford builds these cars hundreds at a time, thousands at a time. So when they drill holes, they're not always in the right spot. You see door moldings that are crooked, rockers that are crooked from the factory. That's just how they are. So when I build these cars, I'll weld up the holes, the retaining holes for these rocker extensions. I'll weld them up before I do the body and paint work. That way, when I put the rockers and extensions back on, I can drill fresh new holes and I can get all the rocker molding straight, the door molding straight, and you ain't got this wavy shit going down the whole body of the car. That's one thing I focus on, is gaps, body lines. It kind of drives me nuts. So I start the car up, so I got a little bit more access to that wheel arch in there. And this basically the same process. Start at the top, work your way down, and pull this part right out here out at the bottom as you're putting it on. So like I said, I painted these yesterday. The paint's still pliable quite a bit. Clear coat, yeah, it's cured, but until it sets for probably a week, it still has a lot of rigidity to it. It's still flexible. Now I do use flex agent in my primer, my base coat, and my clear. So everything that I put on these urethane parts all have flex additive in it, all of it. That's why you notice sometimes on new cars, the bumpers might be a shade off on a blue or a red or a black. The bumpers always look a little bit different color because the factory puts flex agents and additives in the paint. So that's what gives it that, maybe it's just a little bit off. The color's not quite right. Mine looks like it's matching really, really well. So that's a good thing. It all came out of the same can, so it should. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to get this piece on. And like I said, hopefully we get it done with no problems. Oh, I forgot to put my screw in. Let me take care of that real quick. All right, so I got the screw back in there. What I'm talking about, in front of that rocker down there, there's a hole that attaches the rocker to the front fender, keeps it in place from dropping down or coming off the car. So let's try to get this installed real quick. So basically, do it just like this, the rocker in the back. Start in the front. Kind of about, I don't know, 3 inches, and then you can walk it. Kind of walk it down, push it into going back. Keep in mind, these are kind of a pain, so. Now, I got the retainer, this part back here, behind the molding. It's already in this metal retaining bracket. So I'm going to pull this down at the bottom down here and then get this piece right here started in its retainer. There you go. Piece installed. Looks pretty good. We'll check it out. Let's put this on pause real quick and I'll walk around and show you what it looks like. All right, so let's check this out real quick. All right, so that's the rocker installed. Like I said, see how I got that nice about an 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch gap? And what I'm talking about is right down here. You want to see the door jamb just a little bit, the rocker panel. Got a nice line all the way across the top of that. Like I said, you see some of these from the factory. This is crooked as hell. This doesn't line up. And then you come down here. This one's nice and straight. Good gaps. Some of these, don't freak out, you guys. Some of these right in here, where this gap is at, some of them are real tight. Some of them got like a 1/4 inch gap. Don't freak out, think your car's been wrecked or whatever. It's just kind of how it is. It all depends on how these fenders are adjusted. When I do my door gaps, let me step back. See how nice the door gaps are? I've seen door gaps from Ford. I had a 40-mile Cobra that had you could take your finger and stick your finger through that door gap between the fender. And I'm not even kidding, it had 43 miles on it. So, but the door on that car was almost touching the quarter. So what I did was loosen the door up and slid it forward. So, well, that's it. Got that side done. I hope that helps you guys out. So that's just a quick video for this weekend. Show you guys how to install these rockers. I hope this video is helpful to some of you guys. Same process on a GT. You just got to start with the front and work your way back because they go on from the front to rear. But going to get more work done. Going to get the wing put on this week. Back bumper. Hopefully get the front bumper cover painted this week too. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. I appreciate you guys subscribing. It means a lot. And you guys have a good weekend.